David Grissom, and last lesson we were talking about my song Lucy G, talking about how to play the melody, and today I'd like to talk about my approach to soloing on the tune. And again, if you happen to miss the last lesson, it's a song that's on my first record and my latest record, the live version, which kind of shows you how the song has evolved over the years. And the live version is definitely more of there's more stretching out on it. If you want to check out that, see how I solo a little more than I do on the studio version. But the way I think about this song is I'm really, first of all, you can play, there's kind of three approaches, and if you're thinking in terms of scales, the C sharp minor 11 is the Dorian mode of B major. So in theory, not theory, but in fact, you could play a B major scale throughout this entire song. I personally prefer to think of it as C sharp Dorian because that leads me back to the tonic more. I'm thinking that I'm playing in C sharp. Which always leads me back to that C sharp, you know. But one way to really add texture and color, and maybe even though you're using the same notes, come up with some different flavors and patterns and maybe jumpstart your approach to scales, is to also be aware of the fact that you could treat it on purpose as being in B major, or you could also think of it as being in F sharp mixolydian, like F sharp 7. It's all the same notes. It's all a B major scale. They just start on different notes. So again, C sharp minor 11 is the main part of the vamp. It goes E to F sharp, back to the C sharp minor 11. And this is the part of the song that I solo over. The B section is really only occurs coming out of the solo and in the top of when I'm playing the head. Let's talk about thinking I'm going to play an F sharp mixolydian. I'm going to think in those terms. So I'm thinking about an F sharp 7 chord, even though I'm playing a C sharp minor 11. And what that'll do is the F sharp mixolydian. If I'm looking at my fretboard and I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to approach this from an F sharp 7, it just gives me a different perspective. So stuck a little harmonic minor note in there. Forget the natural C for now. So that's where I'm really coming at it from, thinking more of an F sharp 7, but it's all the right notes for C sharp minor 11. Confusing enough? Sorry. Trust me, it's an idea that it helps you sort of see. If you think about this, you'll see the relationship of all these modes to the major scale, and the importance of, if you can get the muscle memory of the major scale down, then you can transfer those forms and that muscle memory to these different modes. And it just really, at least in my experience, allows me to come at the improvising from a little different place. So I could also think of just B major. And so C sharp minor 11, which is the same thing, a C sharp Dorian is the same thing as a B major scale. So if I'm thinking in terms of B major, I'm going to play different stuff. So if I'm thinking in terms of B major, I might think C sharp minor. It's all the same notes, but you see, it just makes me think differently, play differently. And when I'm playing the song live, I'm not thinking like that, but it's from doing it enough that these things just sort of pop up, and it gets me away from just thinking, I'm just going to play a C-sharp Dorian scale throughout this. So that's been a really helpful thing for me. And again, in the key of B, you always, in B major, the open E and the open B are legal notes. They're in the scale, which allows you to incorporate those open strings into soloing. So that drone technique, you could even hit both of the top strings. You could also play these double stops with the top strings. So those are some really helpful things that are applicable to all different sorts of tunes, not just this one, but just being aware of the relationship of the major scale to whatever mode you're in kind of opens up a lot of possibilities for me. So here's an 8-bar example of I'll play through the A section one time, and if you're familiar with the tune, maybe you'll hear the chords go by in your head. I'll try to outline them a little bit, but they're not going to be outlined as well using this approach. But anyway, here we go.